we were going to talk about time blocking, and let me just spend a little time on that. And that's still running, right?
Yeah.
So time blocking bonus session. So there are 40 hours. Let's say there are 40 hours of work to do, and really there aren't, because once you get more efficient at it, our job really takes about $30, right? So really get into dollar producing activity, and then you can spend the rest of that time throwing client appreciation parties, reaching out, having housewarming parties for clients. A lot of times they're too embarrassed when they first move in, but offer it to them, remind them, and then 3 months later when you bring the pizza and the beer or whatever you want to bring, and the friends come over, who are they talking about? Their favorite realtor, you. Hey! So hold a little raffle, get a phone number, name and phone number, drop it in the bucket. I'm going to give away a gift right now. Meet all their friends. Because you like them, you're going to like their friends. People hang out around similar people. Not even talking about time blocking. So let's go back to time blocking. So draw out, and I'm doing this for 2020 right now. Draw out your week, just in hours, 7 days. You can do it quickly and easily, free in Excel. And say, okay, I'm going to design my life. I'm not going to just design my business. So put in there what you want to do first. For me, I put in breakfast with my family, dinner with my family, bedtime stories and snuggles with my kids. I put in, I haven't put in time to work out, but I want to. New Year's Eve resolution, right? But you put in things, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's pursuing a hobby, whether it's spending time with girlfriends, guys, whatever it is, right? Touring microbreweries, whatever floats your boat, pop it in the calendar if it's important to you, okay? Church time, whatever it is, time with parents. So you map all that out and you say, this is sacrosanct. If I can do this every week, I will have joy. I will still retain my life, which is the reason I work. Because no one ever went to the grave saying, man, I wish I worked more. Right? So find the reason you're living. Get in touch with that and put that on your calendar first. And what you will be surprised by is all the rest of the time. Right? And so now start saying, okay, I can make 5 calls an hour if I'm doing, if I'm staying on track. Or 6 calls an hour, right? So let's say, easy math, 6 and 10 minutes. So 10 minutes a call, 6 calls an hour to have real conversations. And then I'm also going to have some fluff time where I'm just burning through voicemails. So let's get it down to maybe 5 calls an hour. Actual voice conversations where I'm on point. And now you start going in, okay, if I'm going to do that, how many hours do I need to call expiries every day? How many hours do I need to call my sphere of influence every day? How many hours do I need to spend staying in touch with my own clients every day? Right? Have a communication plan with your clients. Tell them, hey, come hell or high water. Every Monday and Thursday before noon, you're going to hear from me. I might not have anything to say, but we can at least talk donuts or something, right? But you're going to hear from me because most people, they list and forget. And so, put some time on your calendar to call your past clients. And when you fill all that in, you're going to find you still have time blocks for buyer tours, for listing presentations, because we're trying to generate business, so you have to put that in your calendar too. So put in the buyer tours, 2 or 3 hours for a buyer tour. Put in a listing presentation, hour and a half. Put in time to drive over or courier over your pre-listing presentation. And you're still going to find you have time left over. It's amazing, this thing called time. When we don't put it on a calendar, none of us have enough. And when we're not using it efficiently, none of us have enough. But if you use it efficiently and you map it and you have your life first, then you're going to have a smile in your voice, you're going to have that positive dominant thought, you're going to surround yourself with positive people, and you're actually going to enjoy being a realtor again, which is going to be awesome.
That's great.
So that's a little bit about time blocking. Does that make sense? But that's where Calendly comes in too. So with Calendly, you can go into your Google Calendar, or Apple has something like it, I'm sure. But you can go into your Google Calendar and say, okay, this is family time, this is workout time, this is my buyer block, this is my listing presentation, right? And we're no longer in the market where if you don't see a house in 30 minutes, it's going to be gone. There are the exceptions, right? And you can trump, just make sure you replace. But if you put all those in your Google Calendar first, and then you put in your rules in Calendly, like, hey, from 9 to noon, I take phone calls about coaching, or 9 to 12 to 3, I can have phone calls about this. It'll automatically read that you blocked out everything else, right? And so it'll only fill in your gaps from your designed lifestyle. And you might say, So if you're wanting to proactively say, I will have coffee with someone every Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, well, that's on you to book that time. The Calendly won't do that. So if that's part of your marketing plan, and that's great. Like you should maybe, if you're not married, or if your spouse works and your kids are at school, you should never eat lunch alone. That doesn't make any money, right? You can have a 10-minute lunch, scarf at your desk and keep working, sure. But if you'd gone out for an hour, had a lunch with somebody, instead of spending $1,000 a month on Zillow, how many more relationships would you have with 25 lunches with your sphere of influence who knows, likes, and trusts you and wants to give you business and see you succeed? Right? So maybe put on your calendar lunch with someone every single day, 11:30. Get in before the rush, you have faster service, and you're in, you're out. Right? Respect their time as well. And then when you leave lunch, what do you ask? Hey, by the way, do you know anybody who got married, pregnant, divorced, bought a dog or whatever, right? Kid needs to switch schools, downsizing, upsizing. Who first comes to mind?
Absolutely.
Right?
What do you suggest for someone like Brenda as a broker owner who has a team of realtors to incentivize her or motivate them to produce as much as she does, for example?
Yeah, difficult topic, right? I spent 16 years trying to do that. So I at one point had a firm of 10 agents, and I was cranking. I was doing all the Photoshop, the photography, the videography, the website design, the training, the coaching. None of which was ending up being dollar producing activity. But I thought, like, if I saved money by not hiring that out, it'll pay for itself, right? Because I'll have 10 agents doing business. They'll each do a deal a month. I'll make a 10% override, crazy rate, 90-10 split, and you get all that. And at the end of the day, they didn't respect the coaching. They didn't come for it, and which was frustrating, right? Motivating people who don't want to be motivated to be like you, who is motivated. And the other frustrating thing was, at the end of the year, I made maybe $7,500 in overrides. And I had a coach at the time who I was blessed to have wake me up. He said, "How many hours a month do you spend on those people?" I said, "Well, I don't know, like 30. And he's like, "Why do you do it?" I said, "Well, I'm kind of excited. I'm going to grow up. I want to have an office in Vail, Aspen, Telluride, Steamboat, Crested Butte. I want to cover the state. I'll be able to go visit ski towns and say that I grew this thing," right? Like pride was growing my firm, right? I can do this. I have an MBA. I'm a lawyer. I can do this, right? And I couldn't, because it was taking a huge toll on my family. And when he woke me up, he said, "Do you want to take another picture of a house or take a picture of your son at the beach?" And I almost cried. I might cry now. Because I realized what it was costing me, right? And for about 6 months to a year, I got really good at hiring out all my photography and videography. I changed my splits from 90-10 to 50-50, lost 5 agents that day. The ones that stayed didn't do any business, so it didn't matter. And taking all that time and focusing it on myself and my family, I grew my business by 25%.
Right.
So my personal, and I will get around to answering your question. So this is just my personal story, right? So my personal story is by cutting out all the nonsense, I was able to grow my revenue, which is what I was really in business for, right? You're in business to make profit. So it didn't matter what my office's volume was. So I grew my own personal business 25%, and I had more time with my family and saved my family. That was my own personal story. Now, there are a lot of independent brokerages. I was talking to David Adam Kurtz in Miami, and I've got a video of it on YouTube. We were talking. He was with some big firm out east, right? And said, "Hey, I'm
like
doing
Keys or something.
Kirkman." It's like
Keys, or there's. Well, I have property.
it was not Ellis Kirkman. But anyway, some big firm out east, like prestigious. If you're in New York, you know them, right? He was down in Miami, number one agent for them, and he's like, "I can do this on my own." So he went off on his own, and in 3 years, he built a 300-person luxury business, luxury Miami real estate business. 300 people in 3 years. And I'm like, "David, you are like, you're like the 0.1%, right? Like, holy cow, how do you do that and not absolutely lose your mind?" David's story and my story ended up going down the same path. So we ended up saying, I could not offer. I watched the landscape change around me, And so the landscape changing around me was $10 billion in the last 2 years being poured into disrupting our industry. 10 billion with a B. I don't have $10 billion, right? Most of the ads I see for real estate now, whether it's from Rex or whether it's from Zillow or Open Door, it's all like, hey, you don't need a realtor. So there's hundreds of millions of dollars of advertising telling people we're worthless. There's no point. We can do it without them. It's only $1 million. You spend that every day. It's just like buying a car. You don't have a car representative, do you? Right? So I started realizing, and then I started watching the landscape around me. Right? So I interviewed with every major franchise, and then Tim Harris called me up, and he's like, "Hey, you're supposed to be on this podcast, but we're not going to do that today. Why aren't you with EXP?" I'm like, "Where did that come from?" Right? And I was like, "So I don't get it. I don't get the numbers. I don't see why I would lose my independent brokerage. Why I would lose everything I have." And in my mind, it'd been failure. Right? And when I talked to David, he was like the same thing. He's like, "What is Miami going to think if I go under this new crazy company? Right? What are they going to think of David Adam Kurtz? Am I going to lose all my high net worth individual clients?" And he said it took him 6 months to overcome his own ego to finally actually just take a look at it. And so I ended up taking my agents over to EXP, and I will get around to answering how you motivate those clients. I'm just kind of going down rabbit holes. Can't even blame it on pain meds. But so some agents came over with me. Now they get 40 hours of coaching a week from EXP, live on the cloud, and then recorded if they want to watch it at night. They get coaching from Tim Harris for free. It's like a light version of his normal coaching program. They get light coaching from Sean Kokoska for free, who is former president of MAPS Coaching for Keller Williams. I'm on calls with them twice a week. They get support from 450 full-time staff. They get better splits than I was giving them. They get better marketing than I was giving them. And I said, if they were going to see this without me, I better see it before they see it, because they're going to leave me otherwise. And David said the same thing. He's like, 299 agents came across my desk and they said, "I'm going to give you the best opportunity in real estate in Miami." And when he saw another opportunity that was better, he had to admit it and say, "You're going to go see this, and 299 agents are going to leave, or I can leave at the head of the team and have everybody come with me and help you to grow, develop." And so that was my personal story. That was his story. He was like, if I want to be the most successful person in real estate I've ever met, I would be him. And he moved. So coming back to just like, hey, I want to keep my independent brokerage. I want to stay at a flat fee firm. How do I do this? How do I motivate the people around me? It's tough, because you can tell somebody. Tim tells a story. He had a client. He was probably 350 pounds. He was morbidly obese, and his doctors were telling him, you're in really bad shape. You're gonna get in serious health problems if you don't go on a diet and lose at least 150 pounds. It wasn't until the doctor said, "Hey, next week we're going to cut off your leg. You have no circulation in your leg. We're going to have to cut it off," that he had a wake-up call, right? And he started losing pounds. And he's like, "I don't want to lose my leg." And he started shedding pounds. I think he ended up on the cover of a fitness magazine. Like, he got that motivated, right? But the doctor was telling him over and over and over again, "You need to change or you are going to die," right? Now, real estate's never that dire. The agents I was coaching is like, "Hey, if you don't start doing more real estate, you're going to keep tiling, and you're 50 plus years old and you're on your knees. How long is that going to last? If you don't start doing more real estate, you're going to keep driving an Uber. If you don't do more real estate, you're going to lose your house. If you don't do more real estate, what is your pain level going to have to be?" Right? And people are motivated by pain or pleasure, right? And unfortunately, this industry gives us the ability to make $10 million a year. People do it, but we're not doing it, because the pleasure is never motivation enough. So people are usually motivated by their pain, right? And so you can try to say, okay, let's track analytics. The path is in the math. Let's dial down, let's bunker down, let's do something that everybody hates to do. Let's track my hours, track my phone calls, blah, 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 right? Track, because then if you know your cost per acquisition of a deal, not a lead, but your cost of acquisition for a deal, then you can say, hey, if I do more of this activity, I can get more deals. And you can scale it up. So that's where the path is in the map, and if you're tracking, you can drive that, right? And you know that because you're a successful broker. But the agents don't want to do that. They're real estate agents, because they're like, I don't want to have a boss. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to reinvent the wheel. I spent 5 years learning to code Drupal. Like, nobody uses Drupal. What was the point? I was trying to create the world's best real estate website. Never happened. I lost a house because I was distracted. Shiny object, right? You can pay for $500 a month this or $40 a month that. But unless somebody actually has the drive and the desire, I would put it out there. There's a possibility that they're just going to continue to suck the life out of you. After it and finding someone who has the level of desire of you. I mean, you're an independent broker.
Right.
That right there puts you in a very rare air stratosphere, right?
Yeah.
And you have enough charisma and enough talent to sell that dream to others. And right now, 13 or 14 others have bought into the dream and they believe in you. And that is a gift. That is an extreme gift. So don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
But there are people who will be attracted to you that will pull you down.
Yeah.
And so part of it is also culling the herd, right? And so it's to say, hey, if you aren't showing up for meetings, if you're not actually working, I'm not going to work for you. And you're going to shrivel up and die, and a lot of realtors lose their license and leave.
Yeah.
But this industry is only for people who actually really want to run a business. I was talking with Franklin Torres down in Texas a little while ago, and he's a brand new agent, 9 months in the business. And I think he already had 10 deals under his belt, something like that. And he's like, Rick, I'm running a business, right? He's like, I'm not in this for socialization. I'm not in this for the lifestyle. I'm in this because it's profitable. And I left the industry I was in and started real estate because it's profitable. And I'm going to watch my dollars, and I'm going to be a business person. Now, the problem is we end up hiring part-time people who are not business people. And we expect them to be entrepreneurs and business people, right? So my own personal call was, I'm going to put the support and maintenance and training of those people on someone else. I am available to them all the time, but their primary source is someone else. Now, I look for runners in my organization. Just in the past year now, I have agents in Texas coming on, in Florida, California, North Carolina, and I don't have to be an employing broker in any of those states because we have employing brokers helping those people out. So those employing brokers are their first call for contracts, because I don't know a California contract. First call for marketing is the people in their area, what's working for you, right? They hop on a workplace group and they're like, what's working? We Shannon and I met via Facebook Workplace. I've talked to her more than I've talked to some of the agents in my firm prior, and I've never met her until today.
That's fantastic.
It's crazy because when you're online, you actually talk to people more. Like, that's our current culture. You have longer conversation on Facebook than you do on the phone. This is crazy. So now that I'm in a virtual office, I'm actually more connected to realtors than I've ever been in my life. I'm learning. My head's exploding. But in your situation, when it's all on you, take the advice of my previous coach and just go, what is really important? What is panning out? And if I get, if half of your firm even is selling below $4 million and they don't see any signs of improvement, just split to 50-50 and watch them leave. If they stay, now they're profitable.
Yeah.
But if they leave,
some complain about 10%. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, for all I do. For
Exactly. What a pain.
I do all their marketing because I don't really go good about that.
Yeah.
I put everything on all the sites and do all that stuff. So.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
You're an entrepreneur, right? And
It's
I was doing
easy
this.
for me.
Right.
It's easy for me though because I do it for myself. So
But it's not dollar producing activity.
Yeah.
You're not in front of a client inking a deal. That's the only way we make money in this industry.
Right.
Selling a house, buying a house. Everything else means to an end.
Yeah.
Unless you're at a closing table. Like I had a call. I do interviews with agents. That's why I keep referencing these calls. I think I take these calls. They're kind of like, I call up and I say, hey, just give me 10 minutes of your best lead generation tips. Or there's something that's working for you that can help another agent. And so we spend about 10, 15 minutes just chatting via Zoom, and I just record all these, and I said, can I share them with the world? He said, sure. So we just come from a place of giving, like what's working for you? What's working for you? How can you raise the bar in the industry? And so I was supposed to talk to this gal yesterday, and the audio on my laptop fried out. And we were just text chatting on the Zoom text, and she's like, hey, we've got 6 closings this week. It's a little crazy. Can we reschedule for next week? 6 closings this week? We need to get that story out there, right? There's so many people who don't think 6 closings can be done before June.
I want
Right?
6 closings a week.
What?
I want 6 closings a
Exactly.
week.
So I said that's going to be the topic of our phone call. Like, bing, bing, bing. We're going to get on a call next week. We're going to talk, how did you get 6 closings last week? I want to know the story of how you secured every single one of those deals and how long they took.
Yeah.
And then I got a call from Jerry Sheets, and he was a brand new agent like 3 years ago. You might have seen Jerry on the water cooler and stuff like that. Brand new agent. In our company, he achieved what's called icon status, which is about 3 million in sales and then 20 deals after that.
Yeah.
And he gets his entire cap back. And so now he's basically on 100% commission the entire year. And he was a brand new agent. He achieved icon status his first year. He's held it ever since. And I was on, and he was like, hey, Rick, what are your goals for 2020? I'm like, oh, just and kind of chatting him out. I'm like, that's awesome. He's like, I'm kind of happy just doing 50 to 60 deals a year part-time. I'm like, how do you do that? Right? Like, I want that lifestyle. And he's like, oh, it's all systems and processes. Let's get on a call this week, and I'll spend an hour breaking it down with you. If I'm going to record that call, I'll share it with the world, right? But I'm like, it's, what?
Great.
Yeah. So 50, 60 deals a year part-time. Now, his deals are like 100, 150,000 a home. So he's got, I mean, it's rough, some of these markets. We're like, in Denver, what's the average home price right now? 540?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. In Boulder, it's like $1.1 million, or $1.05 million, something crazy. So we're blessed to be in Colorado because we don't have to do as many deals, and that can make us lazy, or complacent, I should say, right? We can lose the basics, we can lose the survival. But the point is, like, now, as an independent broker, I was on an island. I was in my office. I wasn't surrounded by positive people. I could just look out and see the stack of papers on my desk. My wife's like, I just took a picture of that. The stack of papers on my desk of unaddressed issues. Not to mention all the stuff that was on my computer and the 150 open browser tabs. And that was my life. But now I'm like, wow, I can get inspired by Jerry. I can get inspired by David. I can get inspired by Shannon. I'm on a call with Tim and Sean. I'm like, there's something pulling me up and motivating me every single day. That's helped me. What's going to help you could be that. What is helping you could be just going to and having a really hard conversation with some people at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. That's
And
what
just saying, is real estate something you want to do as a business or just as a hobby? Because if you're doing it as a hobby, and if you want to make less than $50,000 a year, you're going to go in category B. And here's the time I'm allowing for you. Here are the times on my calendar, time blocking. I am going to be available from 3 to 4 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for my part-time people. And if you're making less than $50,000 a year, you're part-time. Because a house sells and you make 15 grand. So you're part-time, right? It's ridiculous what we get paid. It's like people say we work hard. It's like, we're not coal miners. Right? We're not in a Chinese sweatshop. Like, those are hard jobs. This is not a hard job. It's simple, but it's not, it's hard to get yourself to do it. Because everybody's afraid of rejection. Nobody wants to hear the word no. So, you say, hey, part-time people. And this is a hard conversation where you're going to have some emotional trouble, right?
Yeah.
Or you're going to have the conversation in your head and have the trouble before it ever happens, and you're going to live it with anxiety for weeks before you have the conversation. So have them today. Because no amount of regret can change yesterday, and no amount of anxiety can change tomorrow. So live in the present.
True.
Have those conversations and say, if you're a part-time agent, I'm going to give you part-time hours. That's only fair to my family. So you're going to get these hours. Now, my full-time agents, if you have exceeded the 50,000 threshold, or whatever threshold is relevant for your office, if you've exceeded that threshold, or if you have a goal, a handwritten goal posted on your wall of 100,000 GCI with so many deals, and you're committing to this many hours a week of dollar-producing activity, then you get my full-time attention because you're a full-time agent. I think that's the only way you're going to really save
part-time
yourself.
people to
Yeah.
work.
My coach at one point said, "Hey, if you hire out the videography and photography, which for me, at
That's
the level
right. Yeah.
at the level I was doing it, it was $1,500 a house. Right? It wasn't just like the $100 Virtuance type of thing. It was $1,500 a house that I was trying to save." He said, "If you spent that time on dollar producing activities, you would more than make it."
Yeah, so if you're doing your own, like one of my agents like, why don't we do our own
I'll
pictures?
shoot
I'll
you
go
a
do
link
our own
with my
pictures. So
calendar.
why don't you spend your time better at what you normally do, what you train to do?
Right.
You know.
People are trained to be.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I tried to get semi-professional photography, semi-professional design, semi-professional is only semi,
Right.
right? And so I would design a flyer, like even for this event, I'd design a flyer, and then I'd pop it up on Fiverr and say, "Can someone improve this for me?" And oh my God, it was 10 times better. And I was like an art major in
In
college.
seconds.
And they've done it
Right.
for 25 years, or even 5 years, but full time.
Right.
And that's the difference. I haven't done it full time for
So
25 years.
I heard about Fiverr at an art convention. I don't think I've looked into it.
I've
So-
used them, Brenda. They're
You're
just-
Fiverr. And kind of, you're gonna have to burn through a few to find somebody you actually like.
Right.
Most of the stuff it's
I
like,
use Breakthrough Broker.
it's like 4 days out and you get a JPEG, but if you spend
Yeah.
an extra $40, now you get it tomorrow and you get the source file.
Oh yeah,
So it's no longer $5, but it's worth it.
yeah.
And for a bigger firm, there's Design Pickle, and it's like
Right.
$600 a month or something, but you get unlimited design.
Do you ever use Breakthrough Broker?
No. Oh yeah, Breakthrough Broker. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's part of the XP. We have it for free.
I just have to go. Here's my cards.
Thanks, Shannon.
I'll talk to you later.
Good to see you. Thanks for
Okay,
helping me out.
Shannon.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. So Breakthrough Broker is great. But
Yeah.
and we get that for free. But anything.
They were in our. I worked for ERA before, and they were in part of their Mark Herman guy. They were part owners, and so they were in our office. And I didn't use them. I've used them a few times.
And it's good to an extent. Right?
Yeah,
But
it
it
is.
gets you up to above the 75% level.
Yeah.
But if you want to stand out, which is increasingly hard to do, then you have to hire someone to stand out,
Yeah.
right? And you either get the brokers to agree to invest in it with you, or not. But again, when I was talking about part-time agent for you, that's going to vary, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing 100,000 GC, you set the bar a little higher, but you have to figure out like who's bugging you and why.
Right.
Apollo's original question was they're not motivated. Well, if they're doing 100, if they're 100 doing 100K, they are motivated.
I think some people feel that I should be giving them business and stuff like that
No.
because I charge them 10%. And I said,
Because you charge what?
10%.
Because you charge what?
10%.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
No, I told them if I give you business, I'll charge you 20%.
I've interviewed the teams, and it usually starts at 50-50.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's with them giving me leads, but also me doing a lot of lead generation. So I think
Exactly.
10% to start is you're ripping yourself off.
Yeah.
You are.
Absolutely.
And I did 90-10 for 16 years
Right.
because I thought I can do this.
Right.
I can Superman.
And I've got 90-10 with big, like, ERA, and then Metro Brokers gave me 90-10. I talked them into, like, ERA's was higher, and I talked them into my 90-10
Right.
and stuff like that. So if you want me to pay me this,
Right.
I will work for you. I'll find somebody to grow.
Right.
And so,
But at the end of the day, I think it just boils down to your strategic partners
Yeah.
and putting some of that work and processes.
well, because I invited
In
most
somebody
of
else's
the
hand, I
people-
would say.
I invited everybody to this class.
Yeah.
Is anybody from my office?
Exactly.
What?
Well, thank you.
It was a short. It was a short. We
It
actually.
It was short
Yeah.
notice.
It was
You
short
set it
notice.
up, but
So I
know.
have
Yeah.
classes lined up for the next 16 weeks. Next week we're going to do part-time dabbler to full-time rock star.
Mhm.
And that could be just part-time effort, right?
Yeah.
How do you make the transition? Or if you have another source of income, how do you wean yourself off of that? You might be in it for health insurance, you might be in it for whatever, right? Week after that, I think we're doing the 90-day massive action plan. That'd be a good one to have your whole office attend.
Yeah.
90 days, here's how you just crush it.
Right.
Because this is our go time,
Yeah,
right? If you don't,
this is,
if you don't really rock it, January, February, March,
Yeah.
your August is going to suck.
Yeah. Well, I
Right?
have-
And next December, you're going to be back in this
I have
class.
I was telling Paul I have this listing, so it's 1,885,000, and we are just now getting 43 views a day, and we've had showings recently. Then the owner's like, I want to paint the inside right now, and I was like, we were going to do that, like if it didn't sell by March, He goes, yeah, but I think we need to paint. I said, we haven't had any feedback about the paint. And it's going to take the guys a month to paint. And it's
Yeah.
like, right, we are losing. Right.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Well,
Which is crazy.
let's next time we actually set something up in the office here in my office.
Yeah.
Let's give it enough time to try to get
More people.
your office in here, and
Yeah.
we can actually customize something for them as well.
Yeah, we can do that as well.
And I have 2 agents that do very well, but they're organic leads that they do. They travel a lot, which
Okay.
is cool because I travel a lot too. So we help each other, for that reason. That's the reason why I started. So I can get, help when I'm traveling and they're traveling, and that type of thing. So that's really good, a good benefit
Yeah.
for us as well. So they won't come to certain things because they're pretty high up. as it is.
January 30th. This one hasn't been released yet, but from 10 to 2, we're flying in Sean Kokoska. Are you aware of who he is? He was, I didn't know who he was until recently, and now I'm addicted. Guy's awesome. really just, his delivery style, just draws you in. It's unbelievable. And everything he says, you want to just write down every single word and transcribe it and study it and memorize it. He was president of MAPS coaching for Keller Williams nationwide.
Oh.
He helped co-produce the One Thing book for Gary
Well,
Keller.
I went to some colors.
So he started his own company called Icon Coaching, ICON, and so he's no longer with Keller Williams, but he's going to come in. He's going to do a lead generation mastery class for 4 hours. That one's going to be just off the hook. We're going to do that down at right now. I'm thinking DMAR because they hold 70 people, but the room might not be big enough. But it'll be somewhere close by. But he's somebody to know in this. So definitely that. And then we're going to have 2 more big events, one big event a month.
Okay. That sounds good.
But yeah, it's good.
Well, I'm glad you were able to make it.
Oh,
today.
Really glad.
I did for you.
I hope I didn't go down too many rabbit holes.
Really good. I was
So
like,
how?
oh, no.
Just really genuinely and this is one of those painful. I'm afraid of your answer. How could I do better? How could I present better? Or
Step to the side.
okay, blocking the
If you watch
slides.
the video, you got words over your face.
Oh,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically so you can actually
Yeah, so we
the
could
screen.
see I know this is the way the room's set up,
yeah.
but if you were over here, then we could see behind you, although it's right in front of us
Okay.
at the same
Yeah.
time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
step to the side.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so basically don't be blind trying to in your eyes. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can
we don't care about seeing you, we just want to see the board.
And I don't know if you could see without light. I would
No,
not.
but the thing
I'm
was, I was
eyes
like,
are so
when I was
sensitive.
blinded, I was like, oh, well, then maybe the lighting's going to be better on my face and I won't be so shadowed. So I was actually having to do. I was thinking I was doing something positive there. But
Yeah.
But next week I won't be quite as mobile, so
That's good.
That's a
it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
All
thought
right. This is great feedback. Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Rick, for doing this.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't go down too many rabbit holes in our Q&A, but
No.
hopefully some of them are helpful. And, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.